There's no good way to find out your wife's been cheating on you. But some ways are a hell of a lot worse than others. Me? I found out from my mom. Let that sink in. It was a Wednesday afternoon. I just wrapped up showing a 38-foot coastal cruiser to a hedge fund guy who thought a yacht would make his third wife love him. I was supposed to swing by my mom's place to pick up my daughter, Mia. She's 10. All freckles, wild curls, and that fearless, hilarious confidence only little girls have before the world tells them to tone it down. I pulled up to the house, walked up the steps, and saw something that froze me in place. My mom was crying. The last time I saw my mom cry was at my dad's funeral 10 years ago. So right away I went cold inside. My stomach dropped. What happened? I asked, already halfway to panic. Where's Mia? Is she? She's fine, Mom said quickly. Her voice cracked. She's out back. And there she was through the window, swinging in the yard, phone in hand, laughing at some YouTube short. Then what is it? I asked. My mom walked to the kitchen table without saying a word, picked up Mia's iPhone, and unlocked it. She recorded something. By accident. You need to hear it. I didn't get it. At all. I thought maybe Mia heard something she wasn't supposed to. A fight at school. Some scary YouTuber prank. Couldn't have been more wrong. She hit play. I heard my wife's voice. Lisa. Laughing. Giggling. Talking in that syrupy tone she only used when she was trying to be charming. Okay, so we leave Friday morning. I'll tell him it's a client workshop in Redwood. God. He'll believe anything I say. A man laughed. Brandon. You'll come straight here after dropping off Mia, right? I'll leave the key under the planter. You know the one. Then Lisa again. I can't wait to get out of town with you. Just us. No boring husband. No bedtime stories. Just wine, room service, and you bending me over that hotel balcony. I felt like I got punched in the gut. Kept going. She said she hired Brandon's lawyer. They were going to file for divorce right after the trip. But not like normal people. No, Lisa had it all planned out. She'll show up Monday with a black eye. Brandon would help with that part, she said, laughing. She was going to say I hit her, that I was violent, abusive. She'd have me arrested, taken away in cuffs in front of my daughter. Then she'd get everything, the house, the savings, full custody. Brandon would move in, sleep in my bed, raise Mia. She won't even remember him after a few months, Lisa said. He's boring as hell, a clueless yacht salesman. I'm doing her a favor. Then Brandon chimed in. Yeah, and once he's in prison, maybe Bubba can give him some attention. I hear they're real affectionate in there. They laughed. That was the end of the recording. Or maybe it wasn't. I stopped hearing. I felt like my heart was trying to claw its way out of my chest. My mom sat across from me, silent. Eyes swollen, hands clenched. I couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. I felt like the ground under me was made of glass, cracking with every second that passed. I got up, walked out to the car. Sat behind the wheel, stared at nothing. That voice in my head, the one that still believed in my wife, tried to find some way out. Maybe she was drunk. Maybe it was a joke. Maybe this was a setup. But the other voice, the one that had spent 20 years with her, the one that cooked her meals and made her laugh, that voice? It knew. It was all real. My wife, the woman I loved, the mother of my child, wasn't just cheating. She was planning to destroy me. She wasn't leaving me. She was erasing me. And if she thought I was just gonna let that happen, she didn't know me at all. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed next to Lisa, watching her breathe like she didn't have a care in the world, like she hadn't just plotted to ruin my life, take our daughter, and toss me in a cage for something I never did. She was turned away from me, face half buried in the pillow, still damp hair spread across the sheets. She had showered before bed like she always did, like everything was normal, except it wasn't. My brain wouldn't shut up. It kept replaying the recording, her laughing, her plans, that bastard Brandon talking about taking over my life like I was a used napkin. I looked at the ceiling for what felt like hours. Then I looked at her, and I knew exactly what I had to do. Not yell, not break down, not confront her, not yet. She thought I was harmless. That was going to work in my favor. The next evening, she came home with Thai takeout. Pad CEW for her, yellow curry for me. Her usual order. She smiled like nothing was wrong. Kissed my cheek. Asked about my day. I gave her a story about a customer who wanted to put a down payment on a yacht, but kept asking if he could park it in his garage. She laughed. Too hard. She always did that when she was hiding something. Overcompensating. Then I asked about her day. Oh, pretty normal, she said between bites. A client backed out last minute on a media pitch. Brandon was freaking out per usual. You'd think the guy had never handled pressure. I nodded, letting her talk. I watched her facial muscles carefully. She didn't crack once. She was good. Too good. After dinner, we sat on the couch and watched something on Netflix. I couldn't even tell you what it was. My mind was elsewhere. That's when I tried something. So, crazy story I read online, I said casually. Guy found out his wife was cheating on him. Walked in on her and the boyfriend. Lost it. Smashed the guy's face in. Put her in the hospital. Now he's doing time, but they say he smiles in his mugshot. She didn't laugh. Just blinked. Then forced a smirk. Jesus. Could have just divorced her. Sure, I said. But you can kinda see how a man snaps like that. Her fork paused over her ice cream. I didn't say anything else. She got up, went over to the liquor cabinet, and poured herself a double shot of Bailey's. Drank it in one gulp. Poured another. I stood behind her, slid my hands around her waist, and whispered, "You know I love you, right?" She stiffened for half a second, then leaned back into me. "Of course I do." I kissed the top of her head. "If you ever cheated on me," I said, real quiet, "it would break me, and it'd crush Mia." "I would never do that," she said, her voice soft. "Never. Liar." 2 nights later, she brought it up casually over breakfast. "I'm heading out of town Friday." Yeah. Industry seminar. It's this branding and digital strategy thing in Redwood Valley. A bunch of agencies are sending people. Brandon and I are going for work. Work, huh? I stirred my coffee. Whole weekend. Yep. We'll be at workshops most of the day. Panels, roundtables. Boring stuff. You and Mia wouldn't have any fun. Thought about tagging along, just to get out of town. She smiled, that too wide, too quick smile. The fake one. Really not a good idea. There's nothing to do there, and I'll be dead tired every night. I just feel bad. I nodded. All right, you're the expert. She kissed me like always. Same lipstick, same perfume. Same routine. She left, heels clicking down the front walk. I sat there at the table, coffee going cold in my hands. That was it. She was lying again, planning her trip with Brandon. Not for work, for pleasure. And now I knew what she looked like when she lied. It was time to stop being a good husband. It was time to be something else. I wasn't always the guy who smiled through betrayal. I learned early that if you didn't fight back, people would keep stomping on you. I was the shortest kid in every class growing up. Got shoved, picked on, mocked. But I figured something out by the time I was 10. If you make it costly to mess with you, even the big kids start thinking twice. I didn't win many fights, but I made damn sure no one ever forgot touching me. That's the version of me Lisa just woke up. I wasn't looking to patch things up. I wasn't even looking to scream or expose her. This wasn't about heartbreak anymore. It was about survival. She wasn't just cheating. She was planning to erase me from my own life. And if I didn't act fast, I was going to lose everything. My freedom, my daughter, my home. I needed help, but not from a lawyer or a friend. I needed someone who understood how to make a problem disappear without leaving a mess behind. There was only one guy I knew who fit the bill. Knox. We weren't close. Hell, we'd barely talked in years. But I once saved his ass in a bar fight he didn't start. 3 guys jumped him, and I pulled him out before they could finish what they started. Took a bottle to the ribs for it. He never forgot. Every time I'd run into him over the years, at gas stations, parking lots, wherever, he'd point at me and say the same thing. "You ever need anything, I got you. No questions." so I called. He picked up on the first ring. "Mike," he said like he was expecting me. "I need a favor," I said. "You good?" "No," I said. "Not even close." "You want to meet?" "Where?" He gave me the name of a bar I'd never heard of. Said it didn't have a sign, just a door next to an old laundromat 2 towns over. "Best place for a private talk," he said. "No cameras, no curious drunks. You'll see." That night, I parked in an alley behind the place. No lights outside. No music leaking out. Just a steel door with peeling paint and a busted buzzer. Inside was a dim room with 6 booths. No TV, and a bartender who looked like he'd been carved from tree bark. No one even looked up when I walked in. Knox was in the back booth, sipping something brown and cheap. He nodded at the seat across from him. "So, tell me everything." I laid it out. The recording, the affair, the fake abuse setup, her plan to have me arrested and vanish with my daughter, how they were flying out together Friday morning. He didn't interrupt, just listened, still as stone. When I finished, he leaned back and cracked his knuckles. "You're lucky," he said. "You came to me before it was too late." "I don't want to hurt them," I said. "Not physically. I just want them stopped." Knox smirked. "You don't need bruises to destroy someone. You just need the right timing, and something that makes the system turn on him." He took out a notebook and started sketching out the plan on a napkin. A pouch of white powder, crushed pills, something that screamed illegal without actually being anything too deadly. We'd make it look like Brandon was trying to party across state lines. "I'll build the pack," he said. "No prints, no trails. Prescription label will look real but shady. TSA sees it, and they'll pull him in before he even sees the gate." "You sure it can't get traced back to me?" "Mike," he said, grinning. "I've done worse for guys I don't even like." We agreed on the drop Thursday night, behind a busted vending machine outside a self-storage place. He didn't want to meet twice. One talk was enough. He finished his drink and stood. "Tell me one thing," he said. "What?" "That girl of yours, Mia. She worth all this? She's everything. Then let's ruin their weekend." He left first. I waited 10 minutes. Walked out, heart pounding, but clear for the first time in days. This wasn't just about betrayal anymore. It was about war. Thursday night felt heavier than usual. The air, the silence, everything. I drove to the self-storage facility on the edge of town, just like Knox told me. The place was a graveyard. Row after row of padlocked doors and rusted-out vending machines. No lights, no signs. Just one broken security camera hanging loose like a bad eye. Behind the busted soda machine, exactly where he said, I found a plain black pouch, wrapped in plastic. No labels, no tape, just a little weight in my hand that felt like control. I didn't even open it right away. Back home, I waited until Lisa went to bed. Mia was already asleep, hugging her stuffed sloth. I stepped into the garage, shut the door, and opened the pouch on my workbench. Knox had outdone himself. Inside was a full setup. A sandwich bag with fine white powder, looked like coke, maybe fentanyl if you were guessing. 2 full blister strips of small blue pills. And the best part, a prescription bottle labeled Transisil, with Knox's fake doctor name and a phony Los Angeles clinic address. The bottle was scratched up, had residue on the cap, and the pills didn't match the label. Looked exactly like something a guy like Brandon would try to fly with, thinking he'd sweet-talk his way through security. I held everything up to the light. It was too perfect. This wasn't Knox's first time. I sealed the pouch again, wiped it down, put it in a brown paper bag, and slid it under the seat in the garage. Then I sat, just breathing. I didn't feel nervous. I felt focused. Friday morning, Lisa came into the kitchen dressed in her fake work casual outfit. Black blazer, too much makeup, travel-sized hairspray in her purse. Her suitcase was by the door. She looked smug. Brandon's car has a flat, she said. So I'm driving. I sipped my coffee. That guy's cursed. She laughed. Tell me about it. He bringing luggage? Of course. It's in the trunk. I nodded. You guys carpool well. She didn't answer. just smiled like the joke flew over her head. Or maybe she didn't care. Either way, I didn't let it show. After she left, I waited 15 minutes, then grabbed the spare key I made years ago when we bought the SUV. Back then, I thought I might lose mine. Funny how things work out. I drove to a block from her office and parked behind a florist's van. Watched from a distance until she went inside with her travel mug and her fake, have a good day energy. Then I moved. I walked to her car, popped the trunk, and there it was, Brandon's gray Samsonite roller bag, just like last time. I unzipped it carefully, peeled back the dress shirts and cologne kit. Underneath his shaving bag, I placed the black pouch, pressed it down flat. Then I reached into my jacket and took out a second item. The prescription bottle of pills from the pouch. I had separated it earlier just in case TSA missed the bag. I slid it into the inside pocket of his blazer. That way, if they missed one, they'd find the other. I zipped everything back up, wiped the handle with the cloth in my pocket, and gently closed the trunk. Everything looked untouched. I got back in my car, drove 3 blocks away, and tossed the gloves into a random trash can behind a coffee shop. Then I headed to work, clocked in, smiled at the front desk guy, made small talk with one of the brokers about a guy trying to fit a 45-footer into a dry dock too small for a jet ski. By the time I sat down at my desk, everything was in motion. They were heading to the airport, and I had just packed. I was halfway through a spreadsheet when my phone rang. Caller ID, Lisa. I stared at the screen for a second, took a breath, picked up. "Hey," I said, like I didn't already know what was coming. Her voice was shaky, panicked. I could hear background noise, voices, intercom chatter, maybe walkie-talkies. She wasn't in a cabana suite in River Rock. She was somewhere with metal benches and fluorescent lights. "Mike, something's happened," she said, already out of breath. "We're at the airport. TSA they found something in Brandon's suitcase. Pills and some kind of powder. They pulled us both aside." "What?" I said, keeping my voice low and calm. "What the hell are you talking about?" "I don't know," she nearly shouted. "They think it's drugs. They're saying it's trafficking. Mike, we need a lawyer. I need you to come down here, please." I didn't answer right away. Let the silence drag just long enough to make her sweat. "You're being detained?" "Yes. Mike, please. They're separating us. They won't let me call anyone else yet. Brandon's saying the stuff isn't his, but it was in his jacket, and TSA says I don't know how this happened. They think it's mine too." I could practically hear her unraveling. "Let me talk to the officer," I said. There was some fumbling and muffled begging. Then a new voice came on. Professional, measured, all procedure. "This is Officer Jordan with TSA. Your wife and her male companion were detained during security screening. A controlled substance and an unmarked container of pills were discovered in the man's luggage. A prescription bottle was located in his blazer. We're in the process of turning them over to federal custody for further investigation." I kept my tone flat. "Understood. They'll be processed and transferred shortly. You may receive a call from the federal facility for further legal coordination. Thanks for the update," I said. "I'll be ready." I hung up. Then I sat in my chair, took a long sip of coffee, and stared out at the marina through the office window. There it was, sunlight on the water, masts swaying, seagulls flying like nothing had happened. Normal Friday morning for everyone else. But not for Lisa, not for Brandon. They were on their way to River Rock for a weekend of lies and hotel sex. Now they were headed somewhere else. Matching orange jumpsuits, federal holding cells, lawyers they couldn't afford. I didn't move for a while, just breathed. Part of me thought I'd feel triumphant, like I'd won, but it didn't feel like a win. Not yet. Felt like defense, like survival. I wasn't out to ruin their lives for the thrill of it. I was stopping them from ruining mine, from taking Mia, from destroying everything I'd built. I'd given Lisa 20 years of my life. I gave Brandon the benefit of the doubt when he joked too much, touched too long, smiled too wide. They thought I was a joke. Now the joke was sitting cuffed in an airport holding room while agents bagged their luggage. By lunch, the phones were buzzing. News spreads fast in the advertising world. One of Lisa's coworkers texted me, saying she heard Lisa and Brandon missed their flight because of some drug mix-up. I replied, "No idea. Hope everything's okay." Then I turned off my phone and took the rest of the day off. I picked Mia up from school early. We got ice cream, played cards, watched cartoons. She laughed with her mouth full of mint chip, her cheeks sticky with sugar. She didn't know anything had changed. And that was the point. The world she lived in stayed exactly the same. It was just missing two people who didn't deserve to be in it. By the time their court date came, Lisa had traded her high heels for county slip-ons, and Brandon's tailored blazers were swapped out for a jumpsuit that matched his new reality. They walked into the courtroom in shackles. Real ones, not metaphorical like the marriage we once had. I was there, not to gloat, just to finish what I started. The prosecution came in ready. The U.S. attorney on the case, Rachel, was young but sharp, confident in the quiet, dangerous kind of way. She didn't need to grandstand. She had the evidence. First, the items recovered at the airport. The pouch with white powder, the unlabeled pills, the fake prescription bottle tucked neatly into Brandon's blazer. Then the search of Brandon's browser history. He'd looked up combinations of party drugs and how to fly with personal use quantities. The defense argued that anyone could have planted those searches. Rachel countered with timestamps, all lined up with him planning the weekend trip. When Lisa's attorney tried to frame it all as my doing, saying I found out about the affair and went scorched earth, I didn't flinch. They called me to the stand. I told the truth, every piece of it. I told them Lisa had been distant, said she was working longer hours, that she mentioned this branding seminar out of town, that I wanted to surprise her with a visit. So I booked a hotel in Redwood Valley for me and Mia. The prosecution backed that up with my reservation receipt and employee time card. I was on the job the whole time the drugs were being planted. Lisa's lawyer pushed harder. "Mr. D'Angelo, are you really asking us to believe you had no idea your wife was having an affair?" I looked him straight in the eye. "I'm guilty of one thing, trusting her. Completely. For 20 years. He blinked. "And for that," I added, "I was nearly erased from my own life. She didn't just cheat. She tried to frame me, to take my daughter, to destroy me." He objected. The judge overruled. Jury watched me the whole time. Rachel introduced my phone records, time logs, even the lack of any financial activity suggesting I was preparing for a breakup. No account transfers, no credit card changes. Nothing that said I knew what Lisa was doing. Then came the kicker, TSA's forensic report. The bag was sealed. No evidence of tampering. The pills and powder were placed deep inside Brandon's suitcase and jacket, packed like they belonged there. Lisa had driven the car. Brandon had packed the bag. The defense tried one last time to suggest I had access, that maybe I had used an old key or guessed where the spare was. "Any proof of that?" the judge asked. The lawyer shrugged. Rachel just stood and said, "No fingerprints, no DNA, no witness, no motive that holds up." And that was it. After closing arguments, the jury took less than a day. Brandon, guilty. 10 years for possession with intent, conspiracy, and attempted transport. Lisa, guilty. 2 years for conspiracy and obstruction. When the verdict was read, Lisa broke. Collapsed in her chair like someone yanked the bones out of her body. 2 bailiffs had to carry her out. She wasn't. Brandon, on the other hand, snapped. He lunged at me, got one arm free, screamed, "I'm gonna kill you," before getting slammed to the floor. Then he did the finger gun thing, held his thumb and forefinger up like a pistol and mouth bang. I didn't say a word, just raised one finger in return. You already know which one. They were dragged out. I sat there for a minute. Then I exhaled, long, slow, the kind of breath you let go of after holding it in for months. The storm was over, and I was still standing. Most nights, I just stayed in with Mia. We cooked, watched old cartoons, built pillow forts. She started sleeping in my bed more often. Said it made her feel safe. I didn't argue. We both needed it. Work slowly went back to normal. One Saturday, I had to swing by the yacht club for a delivery. A customer wanted some interior tweaks before final pickup. I was supposed to just drop off a set of documents and get out. That's when I saw her. She was standing at the dock with two friends, clearly not yacht people. You could tell from the way they clutched their lattes and kept saying things like, "Is this even safe? And why is the water moving like that?" She wasn't dressed for sailing. More like bookstore on a Sunday casual. Loose sweater, jeans, hair in a bun with strands slipping out in the breeze. But there was something about her, like she didn't care what anyone thought. I was walking by when she turned to me and said, "Sorry, do you work here? We're not trying to steal a boat." I swear. I laughed. "Depends. You going for something under 40 feet or making a run for Cuba?" She grinned. "Whichever comes with snacks." We talked for maybe 5 minutes. Her name was Emily, a nurse from up north visiting her sister for the weekend. Said she hated boats but promised to try something new this year. Her friends were doing all the talking, but she kept watching me, quietly amused. Before I left, she asked if there was a place nearby that made decent coffee that didn't taste like fuel. "There's one 2 blocks over," I said. "But if you're into real espresso, there's a spot I go to when I need to think." She tilted her head. "You offering to show me?" I smiled. "You asking?" She gave me this small, confident shrug. "Let's find out." We grabbed coffee, talked for an hour. Nothing heavy, no baggage. Just two people who needed a moment of quiet and found it, accidentally, on a dock full of million-dollar toys. After that, we kept in touch. A few texts, then dinner, then a walk along the marina at night. She never asked about Lisa, never pushed. She didn't need to. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like someone saw me, not the guy who got cheated on, not the single dad, just me. But I wasn't rushing it. I wasn't healed yet, not fully, but I was walking in that direction. One real conversation at a time. Some nights I'd lie awake staring at the ceiling, thinking about how close I came to losing everything. Not just my daughter or my freedom, but myself. There's something about betrayal that strips layers off you. You're not just angry, you're exposed, humiliated. And if you're not careful, you become the worst version of yourself trying to fight back. But I didn't. I didn't hit anyone, didn't scream, didn't torch her car or post revenge rants online. I stayed calm. I planned. I let the truth and a little help do the damage. And I don't regret it. Not even a little. Lisa could have left. She could have said it was over, packed a bag, filed for divorce. I would have been broken, sure, but I would have walked away clean. Instead, she tried to bury me. She weaponized the system. And that's what flipped the switch in me. That's what made me decide. If someone's willing to go nuclear on your life, you don't negotiate, you disable their launch codes first. I didn't want revenge. I wanted to survive. And I did. Mia was safe. Our home was quiet again. I wasn't checking phones or second-guessing every word someone said to me. That alone felt like freedom. A few months after the trial, Emily and I were still seeing each other, slow and steady. No drama, no expectations, just easy conversation and meals that didn't end with someone lying to my face. She didn't ask for anything from me, didn't push for explanations or try to play therapist. She just showed up and let me be real. Sometimes we cooked together. Sometimes she sat on my kitchen counter while I made pasta and told stories about patients who tried to flirt with her while half sedated. She had a quiet kind of humor, subtle, dry, and warm. She met Mia one afternoon by accident, and they hit it off faster than I expected. I watched them laugh over a batch of misshaped cookies and felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Maybe it was too early to call it healing, but it was something. As for Lisa, she never saw it coming. The woman who once called me boring and predictable got outmaneuvered by the very man she dismissed. She used to say I was too soft, that I didn't have bite. Funny how that works out. Last I heard, she wasn't doing well in prison. And frankly, I don't care. I don't wish her pain. I just don't owe her any more space in my head. Brandon? No idea. Don't want to know. If Karma has a sense of humor, he's probably bragging about being someone's favorite cellmate right about now. But me? I'm not looking back. Not chasing payback. I got what mattered, Mia. My name cleared. My life back. Sometimes I sit on the porch after she's gone to bed, glass of wine in hand, watching the marina lights blink like quiet stars. The air smells like salt and fuel and freedom. And I think, this could have ended so much worse. But it didn't, because I knew where the line was. And the moment they crossed it, I made sure they'd never get another chance. Some people think walking away makes you weak. But sometimes walking away is the strongest thing you can do, especially when it's right after you watch them burn themselves down. And now I get to live. For real this time,